You guys are going to see this as one of the first people in the world. So I'm just make sure I'm sharing
I
that.
told you we're with 1,000 here, you know.
Are you guys able to see my screen now?
No. Yeah, we do see it, but we need to fix something here to make it bigger. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so so what you're looking at here is, this is not live yet, but you know, this is our version right now. So basically, we're showing on the left side, this is the amount of tokens in circulation. So right now it's 161 million. On the right side, how many dollars are being held in escrow right now? And so this is cool, but this is just the dashboard, right? So if you scroll down, you can click on this button, download report, and this is where you get the actual attest report with Martina's signature on it. So I don't know if it's up and running right now, so let's test it. Basically, I just click on reply. I know they're making some final changes to it, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's not going forward right now. Let's see. Oh, yeah, no, here we go.
Okay,
So
there it is.
Yeah, so there you go. So this is as close to real-time audit as we can get. So this report says 1:13 Eastern. Yeah, so that's not, it's about a minute and a half old right now. So again, they're still making some small changes to the back end of this report, but every 30 seconds, you're going to see a new version of this report that's available for people to download with updated balances.
Yeah.
And if people want to specifically look for a balance on a true USD wallet, which is the specific stablecoin that is buying this solution right now, they can search for it over here. Here you can see some updates, and then there's of course you know, there's historical reports that people can look at. There's a client portal, which you don't see here, but on the client side, there's a whole side of the software where they can update information, they can sign off on reps, they can see what the token balances are, and then on the public side, you can look at from use disclaimers, etc. So yeah, this is what it is.
Yeah, so sorry?
That's what I asked my question.
Yeah, so we have a question here, Andries. I don't know if you're able to hear Kurt, but go ahead, Kurt.
Hi, Andres. Hey, this great tool. I can see how you, you know, on the left side of the equation there with True USD, how you can do real-time 30-second stuff on that. But how are you able to do that on the other side with the US dollar reserve? How are you able to get that into the real-time part of the equation?
Yeah, so the technology is built on two things. On the left side, the True USD circulation is monitored by running full nodes on the Ethereum blockchain, which was caused some complications this weekend with the Istanbul upgrade to the network, and then the Binance chain. So they use two blockchains to create the token, and so we have nodes on those blockchains, and so we can monitor token creation and token redemption in real time. So as much as that sounds maybe a little complicated, it's not all that complicated. And, you know, this is really built on the foundations of blockchain technology. The right side is actually harder, and the reason is it's, you know, the technology that banks are using today is not so accessible and easily monitorable. And so what we have to build here is API connections into all the different trust companies that our client is using. And so I believe in this case, there's 4 or 5 different trust companies. And so we have to build API technology into the trust accounts that are held by these banks. And so there's quite a bit of technology and risk management, control management that goes into this behind the scenes, of course. So it's doable, but it does require a little bit of work and sometimes explaining to banks why we're doing this and why this is a good thing for them and their clients.
Yeah, and I really do see tremendous value, towards shareholders, investors, because they can use real-time assurance information, to base their decisions on, instead of using reports that are looking at figures in the past. So I really do see tremendous value here. But if you would look at the audit and accounting rules, do you see that these are also up to speed to substantiate what you're doing over there? What do you see in terms of rules and regulations?
Rules and regulations? Yeah, so we spent a good amount of time going through the relevant standards here in the US, and as you can imagine, there's no framework on how to do this, because it's just no one is doing it today. And basically what we have to do is go through the current standards and see how they would apply to this, and basically whether we would be doing something that would take us so far out of the standard that it would cause any risk to the firm. And I can tell you we spent about 6 months with a handful of our quality control, most senior audit partners, documenting our thinking and analyzing what's possible, what's not possible today. And ultimately where we landed was, we think it is possible. No one has done it, but we think it is possible. And let's make sure we document our position. We've had some ongoing conversations with our friends at the AICPA. Some of the proposed new standards that have come out here in the US do specifically refer to blockchain technology, continuous auditing, relying on blockchain technology from an audit standpoint. So it seems like the regulators are certainly embracing the technology and the regulatory environment shifting towards being more blockchain progressive. But the current standards don't specifically mention this is how we do it. So we're very transparent about how the technology works, and once we go through peer review, and we've already had some our friends at the AICPA, first of all, expressing their excitement, and second, wanting to learn more and so. And to be honest, I think that the issue is more how you do it in a compliant way versus can it be done. I think the question is not so much can it be done. I think the regulators agree, yes, this can be done. It's more how do we solve for some of the issues on the technology side, on the control monitoring side, on the risk mitigation side, in dealing with banks and dealing with a new piece of software that we had to build, and addressing those issues. But I think what I'm hoping for is that this becomes sort of the new standard when it comes to providing audit and access solutions over blockchain environments. I think if, as a profession, we are not able to provide a level of assurance that is real-time or approaches real-time, then people are just not going to rely on our reports so much in the blockchain environment, because blockchain is all about instantaneous transacting across the world and having the ability to do that. And if you're using an audit report that is, a month old or a year old or a week old, it sort of defeats the purpose of this instant transacting. And then I would say the other thing is, this is what I tell my colleagues here at the firm, whenever we speak to folks in the industry, blockchains are a fantastic environment when it comes to the audit profession. I mean, it's sort of a dream come true in having one version of the truth, having one digital ledger that is capturing all of the data you couldn't wish for a better place to start when it comes to wanting to audit something or wanting to review something. So I think as an industry, we really need to embrace this technology.
Yeah, and that's totally true. You know, we're moving to real-time reporting. Blockchain is fitting properly within that model. And then I also want to give the audience 1 or 2 minutes to post a couple of questions. Is that also okay with you, Andries?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious what you guys are seeing over there. I'm very optimistic about some of the news that is coming out of some of the territories in the Caribbean. I know BVI is talking about launching a US dollar-backed coin. I know Marshall Islands is doing some kind of free token sale. And I think there's certainly opportunity for some jurisdictions to issue government-backed or government-controlled coins, which probably will all end up being some version of a stablecoin. So our assumption is, if they're going to be stablecoins, they're going to need a solution like this.
Yeah, and that's why it comes in handy. There are a lot of central banks here in the region who are looking at those options to launch a digital currency back to probably the USD or whatever other coin. So let's see, we have one question over there. I'll repeat your question if you let me know what you want to ask, Reno. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. One question. You see you have a test report every 30 seconds. How do you do it with attesting the environment of, for example, the trust company? How do you deal with SSAE 16 reports of the other, for example, the trust companies? Do you do that once a year or regularly? I don't know.
So is the, just so I understand correctly, is the question how can we rely on the information that we're getting from the bank?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would say it's a little bit of a mix. There's certainly some reviewing and testing of control environments on the side of the bank, and to the extent that we can work with companies that have gotten SOC reviews done, that certainly helps things. So I think that there's always going to be a well, it's a combination of a continuous component of reviewing those controls, monitoring those environments, and then there is still a periodic testing that happens as well. And that's both on the side of the bank as well as on our side, because you're not only relying on information that you get from a third party, you're also, to a very high extent, relying on your own code, your own software solution. So we're not so used to testing our own environment so much, but in this situation, doing quite a bit of that as well. There is a white paper that we created, and that's there's another website here that I can send you guys to. Yeah, it's a little bit of a long link here, but I can circulate it with you guys. But this is a landing page that we created, and what you can do here is you can download a white paper on the solution, and that talks a little bit more specific about on the control side how we get comfortable with this. But some of this is internal documentation that is going to be subject to peer review for the first time in the kind of year, and it's about a 200-page memo that we wrote on it. So that we share as much as we can share, and then some of this is sort of internal pitching as well, of course.
Okay, we'll do one more. Yeah, go ahead, Kurt.
So I'm just curious about if somebody wanted to gain some assurance on your assurance, like how would they do that? I know you said you're transparent, but I guess with that being said, though, I see like the thing is spitting out a letter. So you basically, that's a moot point because now you're putting yourselves on the hook by producing that letter.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just like any other audit meeting, right? We get we get engaged to come in as an independent third party and review something and provide an opinion over it. And in this case, it's really the two balances here. And so the client says, hey, these are the two balances as of this date, and specifically as of this time. And then what this document basically says is, okay, we reviewed that, and we're comfortable that this is accurate. And so yes, this is very much, this is a real audit opinion behind it. So yeah, we're absolutely in the book. So, you know, how do people trust us? I mean, this is sort of in general, I guess, what you got to do in your audit. You know, we don't have anything to gain from not being truthful here. If we are, then that would certainly destroy reputation and even firm. So
Yeah.
there's quite a bit of thinking that goes into this whole process before we're willing to put our opinion behind it.
Just one other quick question I had a thought is, what about like if you had a transfer latency on the traditional banking side? So there's a transfer route, you click the button that gets you a report, but then, you know, because of latency on the back end, I don't know, $25 million in USB got transferred to some other account.
Like a timing difference, right?
Yeah, timing difference, yeah, latency.
Yeah, that's a great question. I try not to think of those scenarios, but sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about them. So this does go back to building controls on our side, on the client side, on the bank side, where we create an environment where it becomes pretty much impossible for folks to make those changes without us being aware of them and building technology that anticipates or that can track any changes that are made. And for sure, changes will continue to be made. I mean, but, in test environment, we've had situations where they would add a new trust account, or the bank would move funds around to a different trust account temporarily. And the last thing we want to do is put a report out there that would create anxiety in the market that is not accurate. So what the controls will do, if that does happen, because you can't rule it out, that could always happen, is basically the system will go offline. And instead of issuing an audit report that might have an incorrect balance, what happens is you'll get a message that says, hey, something is going on behind the scenes that's basically preventing us from creating a new audit report at this time. We're investigating it. It could be any of these reasons below, and all of these reasons below tend to be technical in nature, not because the point is actually under collateralized. And so we basically stop publishing audit reports until we fix the issue behind the scenes, and we can start issuing audit reports again. So there should never be an audit report circulated that would show an inaccurate balance.
Okay, wow.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Andries. I do want to show you our crowd, otherwise probably you're thinking that you're talking to me alone, but we do have our crowd here. And I do want to thank you once again. And I'm sure we're going to hear more about the tools that you're developing over there. And so we're going to keep an eye on you and on your firm. And once again, many thanks, and then we'll speak soon.
Thanks a lot. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Good luck with the rest of your sessions there.
Bye-bye. Thanks.